good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Whatever the side of the diaspora that you could be on, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining and welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. As you know, it's pretty early in the morning here, and I have to make a quick video addressing something before I get out of here because it is um, early Monday morning and some things need to be addressed. I ran into whew, one of my narcissistic church friends um, from back in the day, and the language that was used is just so insane, in my opinion, that I just had to make a quick video. And um, I just really think it's real pathetic how narcissistic people you can really get into religion to validate their craziness. Okay. Um, in my opinion, I look at it on a spectrum because everybody is a little narcissistic, and that's why, I don't want to overuse that word because to some degree, you have to be in order to survive. So this is just my opinion. And I'm not talking about that type of, healthy or the self-assuredness, the self-confidence that you must have um, in order to get certain things done. I'm totally aware of that. But when you start getting to a point where when you're talking and you're regurgitating everything that your pastor would say, um, and your pastor has been shined by the light of God, and your pastor has got the word from the Lord that nobody else has gotten. And that's why you should come to so and so, brother, be on time, sister, do what you want to do, Missionary Baptist Church. It's really, it's really sick. And I don't even want to talk about my feelings about black people being Christians in the first place, but I guess that's another story. And again, that's just my opinion. But I really think for another reason they shouldn't be Christians, besides the whole slavery and the beating and all that kind of stuff, beaten to this religion. Besides that, because you're going to find some of the most narcissistic freaking people in the church house. Oh my God. And you can start with the pastor who you are sitting there looking at as if he's some kind of uh, agent for God. Like he can call God up on the phone and say, yo, Jesus, what should I talk about to these people today? Yo, God. Which one is it, first of all? But, and then not only that, there's all kinds of activities that especially if you were a child like I was, or a very close relative of a pastor or a minister, and you get to watch these double lives totally unfold. It can build up a resentment in you that will be very hard to shake once you become an adult. And you don't want to be cynical and bitter about religion because of the experiences that you have had with these narcissistic psychopaths. I remember, seeing just, I was talking with this person and they didn't want to deal with a reality we start talking about. And my mind was, remember how they used to send all the girls down south when they got pregnant back in the day? Because the parents and stuff were too embarrassed for the congregation or anybody else to see that their daughter was pregnant. So back in the day, they used to send your ass out of town. In fact, but a little bit before that, the boys would have to go to the boys' home if you got a girl pregnant, and the girls would have to go to a girl's home, or either y'all had to get married. So kids was always having sex with one another, but there was consequences for y'all. They wasn't doing the shit they doing today. running around impregnating everybody, just like a dog lifting his leg up over a fire hydrant, pissing on every fire hydrant he see. That's how a lot of these men out here pissing on every vagina that they see and dropping a baby in every one of them. That wasn't acceptable back then because your ass would be in jail. Your ass. So, but to me, I thought about the lying part of the whole thing. No one ever said, "Oh, we sent Molly downtown or down to our relatives in St. Louis or New York because she's pregnant and she's only 13 or she's pregnant and she's only 14." I don't, you know, and then when they came back, they acted as if nothing happened. I don't understand that logic, and I'm just kind of alluded to that. And I was laughing when I said it, just like I'm laughing now. And the person got extremely insulted and said, "That's what happens when you get outside the wings of God. You believe, or wings, how should I say it? When you get out of the wings of the protection of God because you think everything goes, or there should be no order." And I was like, what now? Okay, now we didn't go a little bit too far. Because that wasn't my take on what I was feeling. My take on it, like I told her, was the hypocrisy of it all. How come she couldn't just stay home and everybody knows she's pregnant and we all see and we all deal with it in a way that that we're supposed to deal with it? So it was amazing to me that right away I got all this diatribe that was, what the Lord said and what the unclean woman and yada yada yada, and how they'll make it bad for the other women, and while that may be some element of truth to that, I'm not saying it. The whole bottom line is, when you are seeing a person perform one way and they're very strict, and in church everybody is idolizing this person and thinking that this person is the best thing since chopped liver, and wow, you're so lucky to have a parent this way, or a preacher parent, the pastor's wife, you are so lucky. And then behind closed doors, all you see is fussing and fighting, and your dad or your sleep on everybody in church, or your mom brunting the burden of that pain, and no one acknowledges it or recognizes it. And there could even be people in the church pregnant by the pastor. No one will say anything. No one will do anything. These are all elements, to me, in my opinion, are psychosis. And so as I began to explain this to her, and was bringing up all these incidents that happened while we were coming up, they got very angry with me. And then the sad part about it is, they start getting very animated and loud and agitated, and then they told me, well, I was going to hell. That was the last cutoff. Well, you know what, you just going to hell. And I said, well, I'll see you there. So what started off as a friend, and I felt bad afterwards, but for a minute. But then I thought about it, is what I thought about was, why should I have toned down? Why should I have not expressed what I really felt about my experience growing up? And even though she thought I was being very blasphemous and disrespectful to my grandparents, my parents, the missionaries, the deacons, and all these people in church, I didn't take it that way. I just took it as, isn't it funny that as an adult, all of these people had all these flaws, like most human beings do, and that they use the whole backdrop of the church to cover up their idiosyncrasies, their desires, their morbid, and in some cases, destructive desires. And I think that they had a whole bunch of people grew up watching these people and being directly having a direct of being directly affected as a result of having to be forced to be there amongst these people as a child. To me, I thought that I thought it was comical. I thought it was uh, just but the sad part became just how much in denial that person was, and they was ready to defend that narcissism to the very end. They were equipped to just obliterate me it's because I had a belief that most of it was mind control, and just pointing out a few things that was hypocritical to all of us. They didn't have a rhyme or a reason why it happened, but they said I was going to hell for even bringing it up. I just so that was very disturbing, but it was also comical, and I had to share that with y'all today. So listen, go out and make it a wonderful day. Please, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. I have to dump my mental garbage out in here so I can keep it moving. Okay? Thanks for being out there. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time in the mental house. Bye-bye.